Hi guys, how's it going? It's Liam here from liamsheriff.com, and in today's video blog post we're going to finish the series of hormones where we've been discussing which hormones are responsible for storing fat on which areas of your body. Today's final video in the series is all about estrogen. We're also going to discuss the connection between estrogen and testosterone. I'm going to basically explain why and how it actually goes to store fat around your chest or your moob area, your ass, legs, and also the bingo wings. So if you haven't already been doing so over the past couple of weeks with these videos, just take out a pen and paper and just make some notes, because I'm going to basically tell you stuff that's instantly actionable, so stuff you can basically do today and implement straight away. Okay, so just as a final recap for anybody who hasn't seen any of the videos, basically what we're doing is going through every different part of the body and the most common issues and problems that people complain about. We're then going to talk about which hormones are responsible for storing fat where. So we've got estrogen as the problem in the legs, the moobs, and also the bingo wings. We know insulin by now is the problem of love-handle fat storage, and cortisol is responsible for storing fat in our stomach. If you've missed any of the videos before in this series, I'll post links below this video and you can check them out. But today, like I say, is all about estrogen. I always start with the title of the simple estrogen problem, because quite often it's not actually a big issue as such, and we kind of overcomplicate things. So I'm going to give you stuff that basically makes it really easy to understand and really simple for you to actually take action on. First and foremost, number one, estrogen is responsible for storing fat on the ass, the legs, the moobs, and the bingo wing area, and that's just because these particular areas are highly estrogen sensitive. So the cells and the tissues around that area are extremely sensitive to estrogen, more so than other parts to the body. Number two, alcohol, soy, cheap meats, cheap unorganic crops, and dairy spike estrogen the most. There's so many other things, particularly environmental factors today, that cause estrogen dominance and basically cause us to be very toxic, and all these different toxins actually begin mimicking that of estrogen. So if something is mimicking estrogen cells, then it's obviously going to make the levels of estrogen in your body a lot higher. So number two, obviously that's not the full extended list, of course, but you know, the biggest and most common things that will be in your diet, out of those, these are the ones that actually store fat due to estrogen dominance. So it's important that we understand that they need to be taken out of our diet as best and as much as we possibly can. Number three, estrogen dominance leads to cancers. Now, what you'll notice is obviously around the moob area or the breast area in women, if they become estrogen dominant in this particular area, then breast cancer will occur. And it's a very common and very real issue today that cancer basically grows because of the heightened levels of estrogen that we have. So on a very serious note, lowering estrogen levels and making estrogen non-dominant is essentially important for your health, not only just to lose weight. The weight loss is kind of a byproduct of actually improving your health and improving the hormone cascade and also the balance between each hormone. High estrogen generally equals more fat storage, which then equals low testosterone and growth hormone levels, which are two fat burning hormones. So obviously the higher estrogen levels go, the more fat you're going to store, simply because you don't have the fat burning hormones as high as they should be. So that's pretty much the problem with estrogen. But it does go a little bit further, and like I say, there's quite a strong connection with estrogen and that of testosterone, because they do work hand in hand. And like I say, if estrogen's high, then testosterone will be low. So the kind of, if one's high, the opposite's low, and vice versa. Interestingly, this is a graph of the age-related decline in testosterone levels, but the age-related increase in estrogen levels. So it's fair to say that as you get older, you should be taking more steps and more action to increase the levels of testosterone and also decrease the levels of estrogen. Doing so will then put you at less risk of most common health benefits such as cancers, etc., but also fat storage. So it's no surprise really that as most of us get older, we get bigger, we get fatter, but also our health basically deteriorates because we have so many hormonal imbalances occurring that we basically aren't doing enough about to correct. So it's important to understand that estrogen, testosterone, well, estrogen certainly grows and heightens as you get older, but testosterone declines. So you want to go the other way, so you want to do as much as you possibly can to make that change around. Okay, so what is the solution to estrogen then? Well, the simple estrogen solution basically is if you want to reduce the fat on the ass, the legs, the moobs, the bingo wings, then you have to control estrogen levels, and you have to reduce the levels of estrogen within your body so that you're not estrogen dominant. Simply avoiding alcohol, soya, cheap meats, cheap crops and dairy will go a massively long way to actually reducing and controlling the levels of estrogen in your body. Don't give cancer the environment to grow in. One of the sort of important things that we must understand is that most diseases actually grow within the body. Yes, we don't catch things like cancer, we don't catch things like that. So it's important to understand that if you give it the environment to grow, then it's going to grow. Just like mold does, if it's damp and wet and dark and cold, then mold generally is going to grow. Just like inside your body, cancer is the same. If you support the environment that it needs to grow, then it will grow and you will become unhealthy. The less opportunity it has to grow by you removing things like above mentioned in number 2, the less likely you are to actually, I was going to say catch there, but to grow cancer and suffer from cancer. And if estrogen is a problem and you find concentrating on removing these particular foods from your diet isn't the easiest thing for you personally, then what we would do is focus on testosterone growth hormone building instead and kind of forget about estrogen and go from a different angle. I'm actually going to include this in this one as well, and like I say, this is going to be the last one in our video series of hormones, so I'm just going to give you some simple ways to actually boost testosterone, which in turn will then reduce estrogen. So number 1 is to do everything that I mentioned in the slide before. I understand it's completely hard to do everything 100% of the time, but even to the 80%, yes, the 80-20 rule is perfectly fine, at least to make a start and start making a difference, not only in reducing fat, but improving your hormone cascade and subsequently your health. Number 2, it's essential that you sleep more, at least 7 to 8 hours every night. Your body actually produces the most testosterone when you're asleep. So hence, the more sleep you get, the more testosterone that you produce. Obviously, as we mentioned in part 1 of this video series, you talked about how not sleeping correctly can affect cortisol, and cortisol is a stress hormone which further depletes testosterone. So not only do we deplete testosterone by being stressed by not sleeping, we also have a big problem in terms of allowing ourselves to become estrogen dominant because we're simply not sleeping enough and we're not producing enough testosterone when we're asleep. As a side note, for the women that are watching this video, depending on which study you read, women have between either a 10th or a 20th of the levels of testosterone that men have within their body. So, increasing testosterone levels in your body is not going to give you Adam's apple. It's not going to put hairs on your chest and all the rest of it. So don't be concerned by taking measures to increase testosterone. We take an awful lot, and usually synthetic testosterone boosting such as steroids, to end up looking like Jodie Marsh, for example. So number 3, lose body fat. The less fat tissue you have on your body, the more muscle tissue you're left with, which equals more testosterone. Muscle tissue is the only tissue in your body that actually maintains metabolism. So the more you have, the less fat that you're going to actually have on your body. So it's kind of a vicious circle, really. The bigger you are, the more fat you have in your body, the greater estrogen levels generally are because of what you've been eating, and the less testosterone levels are. So you get in this circle of not being able to lose fat. So it's essential that if you just follow all the advice that I put out on the blog and in these videos, then you're going to drop body fat anyway, which means you're going to increase the muscle tissue and promote things like testosterone and growth hormone, which help burn fat. You've got to start eating more healthy fats and things like omega-3. So such things like nuts, seeds, oily fish, avocado, olive oil, etc. all should be quite a staple part, at least 25 to 30% of your diet. One of the problems that people have with going low fat is simply this: they'll start losing weight, but then after a while they'll plateau and they don't know how to get past the plateau. And the reason they plateau is because they're not eating enough good fat. So sometimes removing fats from your diet can be quite dangerous because it's essential for health, but also your levels of testosterone will drop if you keep removing fat. So using olive oils to dress every salad, including avocado, eating oily fish quite often, including nuts and seeds, and most things that you eat will be sort of taking a massive step towards increasing the levels of testosterone. Okay, you should also supplement with zinc. Zinc actually stops the conversion of testosterone to estrogen, and roughly most people will be perfectly fine supplementing around 50 to 100 milligrams, but obviously check with your GP or your local physician before you start taking any supplements of any kind. So that's basically 5 simple ways you can boost testosterone, reduce estrogen, and obviously start dropping a lot of body fat. So there you have it. There's the end of our short video series on hormones. I really hope you found it informative. But as a final message today, if you reduce lower estrogen and you increase testosterone, then you will remove the moobs, remove the ass fat, and remove the bingo wing fat too. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please comment below. Bye bye.